What's a good word, everyone? It's your boy DKB here. I just want to say thanks for all the support. The channel's been steadily growing, and the number you see below, you can drop a text, shoot a voicemail, any ideas, topics, collabs, etc. you guys want to see. I'll include them in future videos and live streams, and I'll catch you again. Be easy. What's a good word, Jets fans? It's your boy DKB here. Aaron Glenn's living up to his word, right? He talked about assembling his coaching staff and there being tons and tons of talented guys, not only through the NFL ranks, but college. He's continuing to dip, right? I feel like maybe a little over a month ago, I talked about the new hiring of a direct assistant for himself. But we have another one as well here coming up in Brandon Blaney, who's being hired from Central Michigan. Now, this is according to Football Scoop's Doug Samuels, and he touched on the fact that several different sources have informed him of this, and I think just over a couple of weeks ago, Central Michigan had announced that he was being retained on the staff after they've hired a new head coach as well. So kind of an intriguing move, especially because there's no indications on what his role would be. And when you look at what Brandon Blaney has been able to pull off over the course of nearly 30 years of coaching between the collegiate ranks as well as the NFL, he's really tapped into a number of roles, right? Co-run game coordinator, tight end coach, O-line coach, assistant to the head coach. He's operated in recruiting capacities as well. And he's put up crazy numbers with teams like Kansas, Michigan, for example, Oklahoma. He's capitalized on earning himself national championships. Well decorated guy, right? I love some of these personnel members that have been around for decades, right? Literally could wake up and forget more football than what a 10-year veteran would even be able to attempt to learn. And this helps, right? This addition in and of itself is just a huge move, just to see a guy that has been living in the collegiate ranks for a long time, has had a wild amount of success at that level as well. And when you think of college as kind of the breeding grounds for innovation for the NFL, you get somebody that's in tune and tapped in with what that looks like, and maybe helps mold and form some of those discussions around what this coaching staff will want to do as they look to just assemble talent and then figure out what they can do based on what they have. Now, he's currently or was acting as a senior analyst for Central Michigan, so kind of that larger overarching thought process. And this would be similar to a role like what Greg Knapp would have had under Robert Saleh, right? Offensive coordinators are still going to be able to implement and do what they want to do, but this is a guy that at the highest level can see this is what success will look like for us, being able to help get guys to that certain level, not only as players, but from a coaching perspective as well, right? Maybe we need to switch up how we're going from positional drills to field work, or how we're laying out plans for installing the offense, right? So I don't know what he'll do, because when you look at what he did from his NFL experience, he was with the Titans as a defensive assistant, and then he was with the Jaguars as a defensive quality control coach before being promoted to a defensive assistant. And that's not unheard of, right? There's a number of guys that start off excelling in college at a offensive or defensive position before being flipped once they get to the NFL ranks. And I think that's on purpose, right? You think about the fact of trying to reverse engineer what makes something excellent, and I think that's usually the thought process in a lot of those cases. He has accolades upon accolades, right? When I look at what he may be getting thrown into, I would imagine somewhere between the run game and the offensive line. You look at what he was able to help out Army with, for example, where they won the Joe Moore Award for college football's top offensive line throughout Kansas, again, Oklahoma, Central Michigan. Look at pretty much every team that he's been on, EMU. They've all had standout running backs, or they've had elite offensive lines just overall. And nobody that's necessarily been drafted first round talents or anything, although he's produced some tight ends as well as some offensive line talent. Still, this is a guy that from a success standpoint, from the ability of knowing how to pull the most out of these teams, he's always been on, I don't even know if I want to say top tier coaching staffs, but he's been a coach that has stood out on a lot of those staffs that have had a ton of success. Where you look at, I think it was Oklahoma, undefeated season, for example. So I'm pretty hyped up about this particular hire. I'd love to see if we get an announcement at some point. Maybe it'll just get updated on the website with exactly what he'll be doing. Maybe we end up bringing him on and he is hired as like a defensive assistant. Once again, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Again, somebody coming in with 30 years of experience will always be a plus in my book. So we'll see how that pans out. This is still just a rumor, by the way. I haven't seen anything in the way of confirmation, so we'll see if that does come out. But if so, W hire for me, right? So let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you guys again. Peace.